Hello, and welcome to an episode of Todd Talks, and Todd Talks people listen because in heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one. Hopefully. Today, we are talking about the matchup that is so complicated, it is so convoluted, that many people don't even know or are willing to guess who is going to win this fight. I'm, of course, talking about Satoru Gojo versus Makima. This is gonna get nuts. And honestly, even though I feel I know who's going to win, it's not exactly. It's gonna be weird. So let's just get right to it, shall we? So, in the world of Jujutsu Kaisen, which I have not seen, I have not watched or read, nor have I watched Chainsaw Man, nor am I probably going to watch either of them because these things are freaking crazy. There are cursed beings that are been brought to life by people's negativity, to the extent that even the protagonist, Yuji, accidentally trapped his friend's spirit because of negativity after her death. Oops. It happens. But when Satoru Gojo was born, he was born with such incredible power that, as we saw in the Death Battle preview, the world itself had to adapt, cursed energy-wise, to rise to his level of power. So yeah, Boomstick, he really was born different. And in his younger years, he was easily not just one of the most powerful cursed sorcerers in the world, but he was one of the most arrogant. He was someone who absolutely knew he was him. You know, he's him, right? And he was fine with, flaunting that, along with his best friend, Gojo, I think it was. And I'm not going to try to remember all these names. But yeah, along with his best friend, he tried to rise through the ranks and prove just how great he was. And he did that with effortless ease, to the point where he almost became he's basically a dick, because he knows he's that good and he shows it often. But unlike his BFF, their paths diverged, because while they both admitted that they were really the best at what they did, even though Gojo was a step above his best friend decided that it would probably just be best just to kill everybody. He took the villainous path, whereas Gojo, who at the beginning of his life didn't really care for weak people, he actually hated weak people. One of his favorite lines is you are kind of weak. Yeah. Like I say, he's him, but he's a dick. So, but their paths diverged, and actually took the protection of a very weak person for Gojo to realize, maybe they're not all beneath me. Maybe there is merit in protecting these people. And so he actually was willing to put down his best friend to help get the world to where he felt it needed to be, in a place where the strong protect the weak, and not just the strong dominate the weak. What a concept, right? So, one of the reasons that Gojo is so powerful is because of his 6 eyes. Yes, he's got 2 here, he's got 2 here, no, just joking. It's called the 6 eyes, and through that he is able to harness the power of limitless. And this is where much of his bullcrap comes in. Anime OP bullcrap. Because he can harness and manipulate his cursed energy down to the atomic level, and through that he has used multiple techniques, not just infinity, but multiple techniques, to make him basically the most OP fighter in Jujutsu Kaisen. For example, we already know about infinity, which makes it so an object coming toward Gojo cannot touch him. Kind of broken. But he's also used various techniques, including the reverse curse technique, to make it to where his body can heal from wounds and basically undo whatever curse damage has been done to him. There are limits to all of this, but he has worked around most of them. And the reason that he actually wears the blindfold, not unlike a Sharingan, is that it limits the power that it exudes. He uses other senses to see when he has his blindfold on. So by that token, he will not run out of energy unless under very extreme circumstances, like in the fight with Sukuna, where he actually had to recharge for a second because of the attacks that he was doing. But those are in very extreme circumstances. Again, he's basically built himself from birth to be a guy who doesn't need to stop or pause or have these issues, because he's him. He's Gojo. So even though I'm not going to name all of the attacks that he can do, in Jujutsu Kaisen, sorcerers are able to use their own cursed energy to do various kinds of attacks. And I'm not even going to try these names because they're, yeah. But some of them are Black Flash, where he can channel his cursed energy into a punch to dissipate energy and do like a 2.5 times stronger attack, which might not seem like much, but when you see the damage that Gojo can do on his own, and then you add a multiplier, it's bad if you get hit. Obviously, it's not bad for him. He's fine. Then he has certain colored energy attacks where he can create a vacuum that'll suck people in. He can use a gravity attack to bring people in or force people away. And then there's his domain technique, which everybody loves to talk about for this matchup, because what he can do is he can create a field. There's multiple fields he can do, but the big one that everyone likes to talk about is that he can set a domain around, and he can basically overload your brain with information. Now, the funny thing is that this attack technically only lasts for 0.2 seconds. It's every wiki I found says it only works for 0.2 seconds. But within that 0.2 seconds, your brain, your senses get like an infinite amount of information in your brain, and boom. You're basically catatonic, if not dead. And as such, Gojo has used that to great effect over the years. And through his slightly revised outlook on life, he has become a mentor to a certain protagonist and helps the Jujutsu school members to try and become stronger, because he actually wants to raise a group of sorcerers that could be his equal, if not beat him. Now, early on in his career, he couldn't even stand the idea of someone being better than him because he's Gojo. But over time, he realized, what, maybe that is a good idea, and he's fine with that. That being said, he still has certain dickish tendencies, including how he treats certain people. For example, if he does not like you, like the higher-ups at the school who have tried to manipulate him in the past, he will basically flaunt that he can kill you instantly, should he so desire. So don't tick him off. Please don't. You'll live longer that way. Also, while he is more heroic, he's not a full hero. Let's be honest here. Well, he's not a full hero. He is someone who can be rather cold to regular people in the way of a fight. For example, if there's a situation where there are a lot of people around him and he knows they're going to die, no matter what, he'll let them. Like he'll do acceptable casualties to ensure that the fight wins, because to him it's unavoidable. Now, in contrast, he will not say, and I apologize for using him, like if he's getting an attack that he knows for some reason will hit him, he will not say hide himself behind a certain person to what's the word? For them to take the hit. Yeah, he will not use a human shield. He is above this thing. Sorry, not above you, Shrifi. He is above using that technique. He will defend that person as long as he doesn't feel it's an unavoidable loss. But he will not use others as a human shield, unlike a certain someone else. Thank you, Shrifi. He's from one of my comics. Comics, ooh, that's to be something I should talk about later. Hint, hint. Now, with his skills and abilities, he's easily the most powerful sorcerer in Jujutsu Kaisen, and able to go up against the king of curses himself in Sukuna. But does Gojo have weaknesses? Yeah. And for anyone who does not want Jujutsu Kaisen spoiled, you might want to skip to another minute or two, because I'm about to talk about this. About this. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. About this. In one of the most recent chapters, very, very recent chapters of Jujutsu Kaisen, Gojo dies. Gojo straight up dies. Now, yes, it's implied that technically he could still come back, and he could come back to life in certain ways. But in his fight with Sukuna, two different people figured out a way to get past infinity. Which remember is just slowing down the velocity of an attack so it can never reach Gojo. And one of the ways to do that is to not attack Gojo directly. Shrithi, I need your help here. So any attack to Gojo will never hit. But what if you attack the space between Gojo, around Gojo? Now that's a different story now, isn't it? And that's exactly what Sukuna did. He used a special attack to slice the area around Gojo. Not Gojo himself, but just the general vicinity. You know, like if you did a sword slash in a wide area without directly aiming at someone. You can say, oh, I'm not aiming, I'm aiming area around me. And then the sword hits somebody and they get sliced. That's still an attack on them, but it's not attack at them. Completely different. And that worked on Gojo. There was also the prison realm incident where through a very complicated plan, Gojo was sealed in a box. Right? This is real. He was sealed in a box and he was trapped there for 19 days. The only reason he was able to get out was because of a special technique by one of the fellow sorcerers called Jacob's Ladder. Interesting name. But I know the history of Jacob's Ladder, but still. So he, this most powerful sorcerer, was trapped in the prison realm and he could not get out. So Gojo does have limits. Whether that applies here to Death Battle, you're gonna have to wait a little longer for that. But Gojo is and was, depending on how you look at it, the best sorcerer in Jujutsu Kaisen, and he's him. And fun fact: the creator of Jujutsu Kaisen did not expect Gojo to be this popular. Go figure. Next up, we have Makima. Oh boy. Oh boy, yeah. This is interesting for all sorts of reasons. So, in the realm of Chainsaw Man, there are devils, like real live devils, and not just like in the Satan, Lucifer, Mephistopheles, Beelzebub kind of way. Your fears manifest themselves as actual monsters that prey on you and others who fear them. So whether you fear guns or angels or the darkness or the future, you're creating a devil of your own making. Literally, you're literally creating a devil and sending it off into the world. And for untold years, these devils have run rampant across both Japan and the rest of the world. And as a result of this, a group in Japan was brought together to try and defeat these devils, either bring them under control or just kill them entirely. And this is where Makima comes in, because Makima is basically the boss of this whole division. She answers directly to the Prime Minister, depending on how you look at things, and her goal is to bring a peaceful world, rid of devils, so that people can just be happy. Such a nice woman. There's no way there's a plot twist coming at all. No. Yeah. So, foreshadowing. So, Makima is the one who recruited most of the team, and that's where she met Denji, after he had merged with Puchita, the Chainsaw Devil. And this is where things get interesting, because Denji, with Puchita, is able to actually erase devils from the world entirely. So you can kill a devil, but you can't really erase the concept of them. So they theoretically could come back. But with Chainsaw Man, he could eat them, and everything tied to that concept is gone. So like the one that Liam likes to use in the Death Battle community Death Battle community battles, is that he ate the nuclear bomb devil, and all nuclear weapons were gone for the world. Like, boom. That's power. And that's why Makima was more than happy to bring Denji and Puchita into their team. And it seemed like, she would actually get her goal of, world peace and everything. Because, again, she's such a nice woman. She's not. She's absolutely not. Makima is the personification of sociopathic groomer. Yes, groomer, not Dami Mommy. I know a lot of people have associated that with Makima. She's not. She's a groomer. And she only wanted Denji on the team to get to Pachita, because she is in awe of the Chainsaw Man, and not Denji, the Chainsaw Man. And in her mind, he is the strongest thing out there, and she wants to be a part of him in one form or another. Foreshadowing. And that as the saga goes on, the public service saga as it's called, Makima's layers slowly get peeled off, because at first she seems like a very calm and rather attractive looking woman. You know, she loves her job, she acts with authority, and she wants to rid the world of devils, which is actually true. She does. But calling her a she is a misnomer, because she's actually the control devil. That's right. And remember when I said earlier that these devils have been around for untold years? She's the living proof of that, ladies and gentlemen. Got dust on me. Because she has been around since time immemorial. Like, she has been around for so dang long because people fear control. And she is the devil of control, which means she has all sorts of powers that she can use to control people, which is something she's very, very good at. For example, with Denji, not only did she help keep him alive and everything, but she knew that he just wanted interactions with females. That's a nice way of putting it, right? Interactions. And she promised that as long as he did every single thing that she asked. And so naturally Denji became her dog. Such a nice woman. But as a control devil, she has various powers that allow her to basically dominate people and personalities. And this is where things get really weird and really interesting, because in theory, Makima can dominate anyone on the planet, devils and humans alike. The catch is that she has to know that they're weaker than her, that she is their superior. So this is actually why she couldn't control the Chainsaw Man, because by definition the Chainsaw Man is the most powerful devil in the world, because again, he can eat demons or devils and wipe them off the face of the earth to the point where no one remembers them. Their concepts are gone. That's a level of power even Makima does not have. So it doesn't work on him. And there have been other people who haven't been as compliant to her whims. And so what she did was she would fight them, and after she beat them, she would know, okay, they're weaker than me and I can dominate them. And she does. To that end, because of her actions and the actions of the public safety group, including Denji, she has multiple devils under her control, including the angel devil, the future devil, the darkness devil, and more. And this is not outside help because they are under her control, so she is like summoning them, like say Yu-Gi-Oh! Alright? I summon the dark devil! I'm sure there's a dark devil Yu-Gi-Oh! Card. I have my deck over there. I am ready for one whenever we do Ash versus Yugi. I'm not sure about Ben 10 versus Jaden, but that's another story entirely. So, just in that, she can control anyone, almost anyone, anything. She even controlled the dead. Like, seriously, she's able to use her power to literally not bring the dead back to life, though she has done that in the past. But she controls them to do her bidding. And she's more than happy to do that, because she's such a nice woman. But her main attack, if you will, is she has incredible psychic powers. She's able to use them to do anything from manipulating your insides to shooting you, bang. And at one point, she actually shot Denji in Chainsaw Man form into the atmosphere. She did that. But all of this wouldn't matter. Like, this wouldn't matter against a certain someone with a blindfold on if she couldn't endure attacks. And this is where easily her biggest power-up comes into play. Through a contract, as a devil, she makes contracts with humans. And she can technically make contracts with devils, which is how she's gotten them under her control. But she made a contract with the Prime Minister of Japan, stating that if she is ever injured or killed in battle, which she has been many times, her death or injuries will actually funnel out to the people of Japan. There are 300 million people in Japan. That's a lot of death that you can avoid. Okay? And she has done that multiple times. In the fight with the Gun Devil, she got shot in the head and was able to keep going. She has lost limbs in multiple fights with the Chainsaw Man. And she has taken all sorts of blasts, hits, and more, and she can just keep going because the death doesn't affect her. She cannot die through physical means. I think we've heard something like that before. Scorpion! But yeah, she can't die from a physical attack because it'll just redirect, and then she'll just be revived, which she has done multiple times, including when the Chainsaw Man chopped her to bits and she revived, and she just like attached herself, Deadpool style. So yeah, she's a lot to handle, and even Denji, after she revealed her true intentions to him, was like, oh yeah, you crazy. But how do you stop a woman who can just keep reviving? Well, it's about intent, much like a certain other person. What this boils down to is that to defeat her, Denji chopped her up, cooked her, and ate her with love. This is real. In a monologue, he explained it. He cannot kill her physically because obviously that would just let her to revive. And so to put her down for good, he did not wish her harm as he killed her. He chopped her up and ate her in a showing of love so that they could be one. And he even said, like, I still like you from the bottom of my heart. And he actually enjoyed eating her, which is not sadistic at all. But hey, there's actually a twist to this. She's technically still alive because she reincarnated via a girl named Nayuta. So she's still alive out there somewhere. No, they know where she is, but even that kind of death didn't work on her. So the only way you can technically beat Makima is either to sever the contract with the Japanese Prime Minister, which no one would really know what to do, especially a certain outside source, or you kill her in a way that is loving and not meaning to actually kill her. How oddly specific. So, who wins between Gojo and Makima? This is very complicated, and I can totally understand why people are very wrapped up in what this all is, because with the domain technique, you think, oh, but he could just blow her mind. Yeah, but after a while, that would, and if it did work, which it likely would, she'd still revive. He'd think he won, she resurrects, and is like, oh, I can't let that happen again. And she can get away. Oh, did I mention she can teleport? Because she can't. So that's another thing, is that this is also a range fight. Alright, Gojo is absolutely dominant up close. Like, Makima can handle her own up close, but that also subjects her to most of Gojo's attacks. Versus, Makima can just summon her devils to do the attacks for her, or use her psychic powers at range. Yes, it wouldn't work because of infinity, but it would give her time to figure things out. And something I forgot to mention is that both of these people are incredibly gifted, intelligent, strategic fighters. Gojo is known for coming up with strategies to overcome people's strengths and weaknesses, and then Makima is known for having backup plan after backup plan after backup plan, and she doesn't mind losing as long as she gets a kind of victory. And even when she died to the Chainsaw Man, she was fine with it, because she actually said she would be fine with it because it would mean that she is a part of him now. Well, I won't. So Makima has that kind of advantage in terms of range. Another thing you have to remember is that she has the devils on her side, which could theoretically be a big tipping point in this matchup. For example, the Angel Devil can actually drain someone's life force via a touch. And if you watch the Death Battle preview, Gojo can touch people. Like, Infinity doesn't prevent, like, touching. We know he can touch people. It's just it prevents attacks. So technically all the Angel Devil would have to do is just drain his life force, which he can do, and Gojo would die. The bigger question here is about domination, because if Makima can manipulate memories to the extent that she actually made the Angel Devil think that he owed her his life, and he didn't even know why. He was just like, oh yeah, I gotta go help Makima, and thus their contract was sealed. And if she feels that Gojo is beneath her in any way, she could take him, and nothing could be done, because that's literally her thing. Now, the question is, would she feel that Gojo is superior? That's tricky, hence one of the big parts of this debate, because in theory, his power level would be on par or above Makima's theory. But remember that Makima's a sadist, and she has a specific goal for the world, and most importantly of all, she thinks all humans are dogs, as in they deserve to be her servants and nothing more. So he's not a devil. Gojo is emphatically human, and the moment she realizes that, and she can tell by smell of all things if a person is a devil or a human, the moment she thinks that he's human or realizes he's human, she's gonna be like, oh, he's just a dog, and she theoretically could dominate him, and then that would be the end. So there's a lot of elements in here, but the biggest one for me is that, not unlike the Alucard Dio fight, this is about, can you kill a person so many times? Unlike the Alucard Dio fight, this is not a situation where Alucard like sends out the hordes of his internal makeup or whatever, and Dio can slice through him with one attack. This is the question of, can Gojo kill 300 million people in one shot, or in a decent span of time? We know that he could kill 1,000 people in about 5 minutes because of a certain arc, but would that be enough to get rid of Makima in the course of a death battle? And I don't think it is. Not to mention, every time she dies, she's learning about Gojo. She's seeing how Infinity works. She's learning about the domain technique. She's learning about certain other things, and with every death that she overcomes, and again, she can overcome any physical death, she's learning how to beat him. Versus Gojo is like, how many ways do I need to put down this chick? Alright? So I think in the end, Makima is going to pull this off. I could be wrong, I could totally be wrong, especially with how Infinity and Limitless work. But, and also it should be noted that she does not have curse energy. That is an entirely different construct. She is a devil powered by fear. Entirely different. So that wouldn't work in his advantage in any way. So I'm going to pick Makima to get this fight, and I was going to make a really dumb joke here, but I will not, because I want to remind you all that my Kickstarter for Tokyo Blade Detectives number 8 is still going on. We just reached our halfway point at the time of this recording. I will have the Kickstarter link in the description below, and I'll probably put in the links eventually, but please check it out. You can get all 8 issues of the series for $10, or if you want to get like every comic I've ever made, you can get that for $15 digitally. So it really would help me. I'm trying to get to 100 backers, which is 27 away. I know more than 27 of you watch this video, so please check it out. Even if you just pledge $1 to support me, it really would mean a lot. So please check it out. I got really great comics to offer. You can get drawn into the comic. Heck, I'll even, if you want to have Makima in the comic, I'm sure I could find a way to get around that copyright. So just tell me to draw Makima instead of yourself. I don't care. I just appreciate your support. Please check it out in the description below. So, with that, I'm in this episode of Todd Talk. Who do you think is going to win between Gojo and Makima, and what do you think is going to be the tipping point for either side? And just how epic do you fight is this fight going to be? I saw the preview. It looks really good. Let's see how big they go with this. So, thank you for watching. If you made it far, I know you were listening, and I'll see you around.